Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. We are back with Indomitus again. And let's see how well they do in this next map, which is on a map I've not seen before called Argent Strata. As we kind of scroll a little bit here and then go ahead and zoom on out. It's a very nice looking map, but it's quite small, really. Players can move very quickly. I can't draw on the map when it's like this between these two locations, but there are plenty of metal extractors to be had, as we can see other players already drawing on the map. So quite a few metal pot spots on this map. As we zoom down here, we've got 2.0 metal on pretty much every single metal extractor, with triple points at almost every expansion option. So although this map looks quite hilly, actually, if we scroll down here, it's not quite as... Oh, we're in the ground. Not quite as high as it looks. And vehicles may be an option here with the large quantity of metal. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. So let's look at GLaDOS, who is the other player in this matchup. Only one OS between the two players. GLaDOS with an OS of 51, Indomitus with 51. GLaDOS, sorry, I said 51 there for GLaDOS. GLaDOS is 50. GLaDOS keeping his common base so far, getting this very first contour up and running. And we'll then maybe look to expand with something. There is some reclaim in the base when it comes to energy crystals. 3k worth of energy here. So you don't necessarily need to invest too strongly straight off the bat here, as we see a resbot already out. Now, the big difference here is as we zoom out, look at how many grunts Indomitus already has piling across the map here. And GLaDOS only just starting to see the grunts marching their way across. Does manage to execute that last one that was almost dead, but still, this is probably a bit more than they were expecting to come out from Indomitus. Indomitus just pushing out loads and loads. As we quickly switch over here. No con actually produced at all. There was just a resbot that came out, and that's it. Trying to maybe get an early win here by just applying ridiculous amount of pressure as early as possible, trying to contain GLaDOS in the kind of high ground start position here. But GLaDOS's comm has already left. So this is kind of a positive and negative here. If Indomitus actually manages to pull this off and is able to contain GLaDOS, then they may be able to get into the base and do significant damage where there's not going to be a commander there to secure it. But at the same time, this is a lot of metal now being left right outside the base. In this early stage, 460 metal is a lot when they've only produced 2k as it is. We can see that GLaDOS already has a 300, well, now it's 200 metal, 300 metal advantage just from the fact that the commander has left and has started kind of building more metal extractors outside of the start. Indomitus is obviously only running off the initial start mexes. But this is an extremely aggressive play here. And for it to succeed, he needs to shut down GLaDOS as quickly as possible. Yeah, he needs to get this metal back if he wants to kind of make up for the fact that the commander got out. Realistically, this plan needed to have the commander not be able to walk out. The fact that the commander is able to walk out now means that the comm is able to just, you know, pick up more metal extractors. There's not that much really in the base. This constructor, I'm surprised, hasn't been picked off. And just as we said earlier on, the units do manage to make it into the base here. trying to get that con turret down. Ooh, very close. 2% health. Meanwhile, as we switch over here, these two cons are just assisting the factory. There's like so much metal nearby. And instead, Indomitus is just doubling down on this strategy. Yes, he does have GLaDOS in a very annoying spot. 1,000 metal now sat around GLaDOS's base. And Indomitus is doubling down. I kind of wish Indomitus would have sent off a con a bit sooner here to try and get some more metal. Instead, he's using it to eat. When he has resbots, like, expand your cons. Meanwhile, GLaDOS has just continued going here, building more and more metal extractors, almost doubling the metal production of GLaDOS. Not only that, we see GLaDOS is able to secure, not really secure just yet, but doing a decent job. I'm curious if we're going to see vehicles coming out soon. A pounder would basically destroy this. He can't really afford to, though, as he needs to just get units on the field. GLaDOS does. Maybe able to catch the constructor. Not enough micro really to get that there, and the constructor does survive. Able to pick off the metal extractors, though. I don't think Indomitus really realizes how far out GLaDOS has gotten. And I think that may be where he falls here, because he thinks he's got him contained, which is why he's applying so much pressure here, keeping this pressure up. Little does he know, the commander's already down here. He's built up LLTs. He's doing other stuff. And GLaDOS is just, you know. Even with this, now with that metal extractor dying, they'll still be break even. But no, this is tough. Very, very extremely aggressive play here. Indomitus needs to get this reclaim, which is now finally a resbot has arrived at the front and able to secure some of this. There are a lot of very, very low health units here. And I'm just curious if we got like a couple of rocket bots here, how much of a difference that would make. Oh, the resbot gets picked off. Very nice shot there by GLaDOS, managing to pick up the resbots, and that's going to basically secure the rest of this reclaim field for GLaDOS here. GLaDOS actually resurrecting units here instead. And this slow delay here are actually kind of trying to expand maybe the death of Indomitus here, as the kind of build power is just going to get away from him. Metal produced, we're seeing a huge difference now, almost 2k, and this is where the tide is going to start turning here, pushing Indomitus off of the metal points and the reclaim field, and that's going to be 1.8k worth of metal going to GLaDOS here. Now, if whilst Indomitus was doing all this, he'd at least spread out and could have been in an equal spot as GLaDOS, right? Realistically, Indomitus probably could have capped up to there. Then he would have been able to push like extremely well and be able to keep this contained. But no, that's not what happened. And also being Cortex obviously is a little bit of a unfortunate here, because well, for either player really, Centurions would have made extremely short work if they were able to hold out long enough. But with GLaDOS Con now arriving in the center as well, it's going to be harder for Indomitus to kind of secure any front here, losing ground very quickly here, and the entirety of the reclaim field is going to GLaDOS. Army value now, huge difference. As you can see, all of these units are being resurrected rather than eaten here. And that is going to be a huge number of army that's going to be a problem for Indomitus. But with a vehicle transition we see now, Pounders coming out. Now, the biggest problem with the Pounder is going to be its speed. If GLaDOS is able to spot these Pounders before going in, he could decide to flank different directions here in an attempt to try and stop these becoming a problem. But as of yet, Indomitus having to fall back considerably. And the Pounder about to make itself known. Okay, taking out chunks of this army. But just as we said, they're just going to go around this way. Don't go into the Pounder, go round. And yeah, there we go. Pounders are going to try and chase it, but not going to be able to catch up. Now, these ones that are fresh off the production line are going to be able to get down there, but still able to take out quite a few metal extractors if they keep going. Maybe able to get those constructors if GLaDOS was aware of them, which GLaDOS is not. Now, knowing when it's time to turn around as they run into Pounders, now is that time. But we're going to see GLaDOS has to mix it up now, switching over to Fugs. Maybe taking these high grounds here, giving them a bit of advantage. And actually, as we select the Pounder here, we can see that it can actually traverse up these hills, but it is kind of a bit of a slow move to go up there. But still, all the reclaim going to GLaDOS, still resurrecting all of these units. To be fair, with all these Pounders here, it might be better off eating them instead, because they're not really going to do too much for you. GLaDOS picking off a constructor there on the high ground. And this is not looking good for Indomitus right now, only basically having control over this start position. Even if he's lucky, maybe we can call it this. But with all of this not capped, that's a lot of metal to not have. GLaDOS doing a great job expanding. Got a couple of got a con up there, got the commander there. But GLaDOS losing huge swathes of grunts there as those Pounders roll up the hill. And GLaDOS actually having to turn tail and run here. D-Gun's taking out huge chunks of Indomitus's army, but having to continue running here. GLaDOS may go for a D-Gun. Maybe out of turn and get a good D-Gun here if he's lucky. He can't just keep walking. Here comes the D-Gun. One's down, two's down. GLaDOS's commander, though, needs to run. Should have probably turned around a little bit sooner there. That was a bit risky. Meanwhile, in the center, we just saw huge explosions as more Pounders doing their work. There's just holes being made everywhere now. Let's have a quick check over the bases. A lot of energy converters being built here, but GLaDOS doesn't actually have really enough energy. Kind of wasting a lot here building all this when there's not enough energy to power that. Switch over the base here. It's bomber time, as rightly put from for Indomitus here, who's stopped vehicle production, ate the vehicle lab, and has started building bombers. Maybe thinking that this is the only way that he's going to be able to pull this back. Which, with an army value negative here of 100%, metal produced 28% difference. And Pounders are great, not when they're this outmanned and outgunned. Defenses crumbling on multiple spots. This Pounder line in the front is about to get destroyed pretty quickly. Oh, and the bombers going for the commander. They know he's low health.
Commander destroyed.
And managing to get it. A tremendous snipe there from Indomitus. It was a bit of a ballsy play, but
Battle
worked
ended.
off. Efficient use of resources. Yeah, because he had none. Well played, both players. If that bomb run wouldn't have worked out, that would have been it. So, well played. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.